Start the meeting, and you'll please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment, does anyone have anything they'd like to say? I can't see the faces. Would you please stand and give your name?
My name is Eva Rassa. I live at Pepperchard Village. And the new windows that they're installing, the frame sets 2 3/4 inch on the sill up. The depth is about 3 1/4 inch deep. And I'm just wondering how an air conditioner can be supported on the windows. Where it's elevated from the window sill itself.
They're gonna have to put some kind of bracket.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They're gonna have to use a bracket to support it.
Right. They did that for the old ones. They used the bracket that's screwed into the window frame of the glass. They don't do that with this is plastic.
We have to put some kind of a bracket underneath the air conditioner to support it.
I haven't looked at it.
I'm sorry.
So I'm sorry, but I haven't seen it, so I.
Okay.
So your question is, will the window support an air conditioner?
Correct.
Okay. Good.
And will the resident be notified in advance when they're going to do the work at the particular, shall we say,
Yes.
okay. And the other thing that I want to mention is it's my firm belief that we have a water leak at the outside spigot because the foundation has been wet for quite some time and it doesn't dry out.
Where is that located? What unit?
Building 5.
Building 5.
Did you call in a work order?
I did. It was suggested that with the hose attached to it, it didn't allow the water to run off. The hose hasn't been attached up to it for well over a month.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments they want to go forward at this time? If not, we'll close the comment section. Now we have a guest from Charter Communications, and we want to discuss the contract and vote on the charter contract. Did you,
It's
Bruce
Bruce
Johnson should do that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
What happened to this?
Sure. I am the rep who handles your property for the bulk TV service, which goes to 2 of the buildings within the housing authority. It's time for a new agreement. We do one every 5 years. I've actually worked it out where the pricing is almost the same as the last one. So it continues to be a real good deal for the residents. The pricing is about 25% of regular pricing for people who would call in on their own for that service. So it continues to be a great deal for these type of properties. Not a whole lot to say other than that. Anything else that you have questions?
Thank you. I noticed that the term of the contract is 5 years.
Yes.
And right now, the proposed, as of January 1, 2014, the proposed billing rate would be $20.41 for the service itself.
No, that changed.
It did?
Yes.
You've got it
Got a
all
letter
there.
in your packet.
Yeah, I actually got approval to bring it back down to $15.90 per.
Oh, that's,
Apartment per
okay.
unit.
The one I got in the
So-
mail was,
Yeah,
okay.
and in the interim,
It's $15.90.
change. Yeah,
Well, my question was going to be, and I guess I still have the same question. It says on the page here, next to the last paragraph of the first page, it says that the operator has the right during the 5-year term of the contract to increase the rate up to 6% per year. That basic billing fee, can we hold that $15.90 for the 5-year term of the contract?
No. Because the...
Pourquoi?
Because the rates to us go up every year. So that's why we have to build that in. It will be locked in for the first year, but for the subsequent years, it's a maximum of the 6% increase. But most of our cost is from all the stations that we provide. We just pass them through in that lineup. And most TV stations now are asking for more and more money. So it's really impossible to hold the price fixed for a term like that.
Yes.
So you're talking about a 30% increase over the term of your duration of your contract. That's not a lot, that's like a third.
Well, it is, but if you consider that it's only 25% of the real price
No, I
now,
understand
it's still
that.
not even going to get close. In 5 years, that actual price will be up so much, and your price will just kind of keep pace with it.
But five years ago, the residents were paying $8 per household for cable service. And now I believe they're paying $17 per household. So with this, they'd be paying, what are they gonna pay? If you're charging $15.90, they're going down.
Now, the
It's plus
$15.90,
fees.
that's plus fees.
Plus fees,
Yeah.
And it's the fees that
Raise it up.
raise it up.
right. The fees aren't huge, but on a per unit basis, it could be $1 and something.
So that's a dollar kind of difference between $15.90 and
Fees.
But $1 something you said.
Right.
Do you negotiate this contract with the board members or the director? Or anything? You guys just decide this is what it is?
No, we have a national rate card, actually. I mean, this is the lowest rate that we have. So we can't even vary from it anymore. We used to be able to vary it a little bit, but
But you're telling me that we're gonna vote on a contract that we have no right to bring anything down or anything? It's just a set thing that you did and that's it?
right.
Well, I can't vote on a contract like that.
Yes.
It did go from 2041 here,
Right.
to 1590.
Right.
So it has,
But it's still like you're saying, there's no negotiation, this is a contract, there's no negotiations, there's, and you're gonna raise it for the next, what, like 5 years?
And the fees aren't included in that $15.90.
No,
So that $15.90 is the base.
that's right, right.
So that's not even what they're gonna be paying. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Oh, I know what you're saying, I agree.
When did, if you recall, I don't recall exactly when you changed it to 17, but then you're,
No, no, we just did it.
This
Recent.
letter
Recent,
was
right. Within 6
October
months.
1st, 2013,
Yeah,
We
it's
just
in the-
did.
4 p.m.
so it's saying that.
Well, depending on what the fees are. I mean,
1790.
the housing authority cannot pay for cable. So whatever fees get it added on to this $15.90 is what the residents are gonna be charged for cable.
Is the base, is the base rate right now 1590 on residents, sir?
No, it's like 15, well, not counting fees.
It's 17.
Yeah.
But that's with fees.
So it's,
That's
yeah,
what
it's-
fees.
I mean, let's be realistic, it's 17. So
Right.
it's 50.
But what I was trying to figure out was what the fees, so what would they be,
Fees will be the same
is what they are right now.
proportionately to what they are now. They won't change that much.
For the year.
Right. The fees aren't controlled by us, the fees are by the federal government. The town access fees for their TV stations built into that. That's all part of the equation.
So, are we just decide, are we doing two separate things?
We're doing
Are we
two
just doing the
separate
contract and we're gonna set the rates later?
We don't, we can't set the rates, they're setting
That's
the
what he's
rates.
saying, yes.
Yeah, I mean, rates for the individual tenants, and then it's like,
Well, they have to pay for it, we don't pay for them, for cable TV.
I understand that, but we charge them, we put the cable on their red, no, red bill. So are we,
So if you vote to accept this contract in 1590, then we'll have to look at what we're being charged for fees.
yeah, divided up.
Divided up by the number of
But
residents.
you already know what the fees are right now, correct?
And you know, it seems like it fluctuates. I don't, the service taxes and, I mean, I'm not paying exactly the same amount every month. So I'm gonna have to look at the bills to see, I mean, if we were at Stoneville, I would be able to go get one, but I don't have them, I don't have the
Right,
bills with me.
right.
But I mean, we can, before we should decide on that, you need to decide on whether you're gonna accept the contract.
Right, okay, I just.
And then,
understand.
if you don't accept the contract, what are we gonna be doing for entertainment? Because they're not gonna have TV.
No, I'm not saying
We're gonna have to
I'm
dance.
I'm just, I wasn't, with what you said about the fees, I understand that part. I just wasn't sure if you meant you didn't want to set the rates for the residents at 17 for the next year.
Right, because it may be higher than that. And then I don't want them coming back at me saying, well, you're raising this again. I mean, we need to come up with a fair amount based upon what Bruce is telling us. 1590 is the base.
Right, but he's saying that your rates that you're being charged now, your fees, aren't going to substantially change.
No, they won't change very
That's what
much
he
at all.
said.
They'll
So-
change, I don't even know, 40, 30 cents per unit per month.
That's what I was trying to
I
figure
can
out.
send you something exactly.
I was just trying to figure out if the base charge for the service now is 15 something, 1590, whatever, and the fees stay essentially the same, then I would think that the rates would be the same. That's it. But personally, I wish there was something we could do to hold that, to eliminate that 6% increase.
No, if I could, I would, and I actually, got this better price.
How did you get them to go from 2041 per unit to
Well,
1590 per unit?
We decided that for senior properties and healthcare properties, that we should have something lower. So that's basically where it comes from.
Trying to argue with this with a few cents or a dollar or two is like coming to the market and arguing about how come the milk went up 5 cents. Or
I'm
how
just
come the
trying to
milk went up a
understand, I
dollar.
mean, 5 years ago, the tenants used to be paying $8 per month.
Yeah.
Right now, you're paying $17 per month, it's
Yeah.
more than double.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at 39-30% increase over the next 5 years, I'm just trying to see what we can do to keep the rates the best we can for the tenants, that's all.
Yeah.
But our cable bills at home went up too.
So I know.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you look at what we were paying 5 years ago at home and what we're paying now, there's been a significant increase.
Right.
And there probably will be, I'm assuming, for 2014 too.
You know what, I just want,
Hope we get some other
if,
cable company someday.
You just want to watch.
It's not gonna happen.
that's not gonna be a goal, I'm just telling you.
It is 1 million.
All right, so if I want to come up with, number one, if you're going to go with the contract, and then number two, we need to look at what we're actually being charged for fees. And that is what we're going to add on to this, so that when the residents hear, oh, by the way, cable is going up again, I mean, as it is right now, in October, it went up to 17. We're still having trouble getting the residents to pay 17. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to keep going up on them because they don't understand. They're used to paying X amount for rent plus 15 for cable. Well, they're still paying the 15. So we're having this, that they're owed. We
But
need
if-
to get away from that.
If they are going to have their TV, they're going to have to realize that they're going to have to pay for it, the same as everybody.
Oh, I'm not.
No, please, ask the floor. But if you're going to have the residents, if you're going to have the TV, then you're going to have to pay for it, the same as everybody else. And if they can't pay for it or they don't want to pay for it, then they'll have to do without it, the same as we do, because everybody it's all independent living. Please, it's all, just 1 minute, please let me speak. it's all independent living. And we can only control so much. And right now, I don't see that we have that much choice unless you want to see if there's another company that wants to come in. I don't know, please.
Point out that the residents don't have a choice in having no cable because their arrangement is
Yeah.
that they will be charged for cable
Yeah.
whether or not they choose to watch it.
That's true. That
And
is
we
true.
have, the housing authority has to pay for that apartment,
Right.
whether it's vacant, I mean, we're
That
still
is true.
paying. So they don't have a choice. They can choose not to put a TV
Right,
in their
they still have
apartment,
to pay.
but they're
Right.
still gonna be paying.
That
is
So I
true.
just wanna make sure that when we come up with the amount, it's the right amount, so that we're not
Changing it every couple of months.
constantly changing it and people understand. I can send out a letter spelling out exactly what the deal is with cable
Mhm.
and why. And I think that's fair.
But how are we going to know without them giving us
He's
is
gonna
this a
give
Well, I
set
can-
figure?
He's gonna
Yeah.
give us the rent rates.
Well, the unit price, the base price is a set figure. The other fees are, like I say, are controlled by other parties, so
And when will you know those figures?
I can make it tomorrow.
Right, because I don't really want to sign this contract and we totally know exactly what we're going to have to charge. I don't know how everybody else feels about it.
I totally agree with you.
I'd like to know, Sheila,
That's supposed to be.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, this contract isn't proposed to take effect until January 2015, so we still have,
We have time.
we still have.
No, part of it has to,
before that.
part of it takes effect now, so we can lock this price in. That was the deal with that new prices. Really was only available until November 1st.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
you had this board meeting coming up, so I gave permission, I got permission to extend that to this day.
I really don't want to hold on until
I'm
we
not
know
holding on either.
what the cost is going to be. I don't know how the rest of you feel. Alice, how do you feel about it?
I would like to wait, but I would also like to ask the board members to put the time in to meet and vote on it within the week, because he's made a commitment and I would like to try to honor that commitment for as soon as we can, weekly price.
You remember the meeting has to be posted for 48 hours before we do another
Or
meeting.
if we could set for next week or something. Just for that and that only, nothing else.
I'm not opposed to it.
I'm not opposed to it, I'm just not sure what day I can do it on.
How about you, Pat?
As long as it's so you'll get me.
Yeah, I'll send you that tomorrow.
And then I'll get it out to you, and we'll have to have a special meeting just for that
What
one.
do you have to be posted now? Do you want to set a date right now?
I can't set a date right now.
You can't set a date
No.
right now.
I don't have my calendar with
Can
me.
anybody else set a date right now?
I'm okay with any day except for Wednesday next week.
No.
Of course, Monday is a holiday, so we can't do Monday.
Yeah, and I can't do Tuesday or Thursday morning, but I could probably fit it in the afternoon.
Well, yeah, I can't do any morning, so it would have to be late afternoon for me.
How about Wednesday?
Of next week?
That's the one day I can't,
Well, you can't.
no, at all.
I can do it.
You can always do it on a Friday.
Yeah, I could do it on Friday.
You want to do it this Friday?
No, I'll be out of town.
Oh,
Can-
that's
The
it.
15th,
Oh!
Wayne, the 15th, can you do it on the 15th, which is the next Friday?
Yes, I can do it.
Can
then.
everybody make it on the 15th?
Yeah, that's fine.
Will that be all right?
Yeah, I'll get it.
What time do you want to do it? 1 o'clock? Oh, Ian, you
I don't know,
working?
it'd
Yeah, I
have to
can't
be,
make it, I couldn't make
it'd have
it.
to be 3:30 again, I guess.
Okay. Lori, can you make it then?
I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's only one decision, but
Right, but we do have to meet to vote on it.
All right.
So we're looking at Friday.
the 15th,
15th at
3:30.
3:30.
Oh, I might be away that.
Yeah, you just got done saying you were
Yeah.
going.
Yeah,
Okay.
What about Thursday?
Thursday at 3:30.
I can do that.
I can do, oh God, I can do 3:30, I'll squeeze it.
Do you think you can?
I'll try it. Yeah, go
Yeah.
for it.
Can you do it?
You can always do it
How
out.
about you?
Yes.
So the
We're at
14th
The 14th.
at 3:30. Yes.
I just would like to ask Mr. Johnston if there is any possible way that you could get them to agree to that base rate for the term, the duration of this contract.
No, I know
I
they
would
won't.
really, well.
I could check, but I've tried it before.
I would, I
Once
just,
this contract's done, we're gonna have a good meeting over this.
Yeah.
I'd like you to try, I mean, for the residents, these
I
folks,
understand.
they want their TV, and I know that, but I also know that, they'd appreciate, if they knew that their term was gonna be $17 or $18 a month for the next 5 years, I think that they would appreciate that.
Right.
Well, the base is one thing, it's all the fees.
Yes, I
He has
know.
no control over.
Right.
I know.
Still,
Now, the cable box that we
For
have.
25 years.
6%.
You can get rid of the 6%.
It's
For
limited to
25 years, the
6%.
contract
Is that
was
cable
paid.
box
The
included?
rates were the
You know, it's
same.
5 something a month or 6 a month for the new,
Next year, sometime after August, we'll be going all digital. So for all of the bulk accounts, you'll have an option of getting a transformer on your TV that will be free, or you can keep your box for the term of the bulk agreement. So that will get you in all of the stations that you get on a box. It just won't have the functionality of a box
For 5 years.
for the term of the agreement, right?
I think I'm gonna be dancing.
Can we have some of this in writing?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's that way.
I want it all in writing, so that we know exactly
Do they pay for a box now, after the first?
about the box and the,
I can send you that in
We'll
email.
go to your
the
house
box
then.
and the box. Thank you. Does anybody else on the board have any questions
No.
about that? Does anybody in the audience have a question on this?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment about charter, is that I have a DVR, and it's the best thing that I have ever purchased, and I pay through charter, and it costs me $10 a month. I can record 2 things at once, it's wonderful.
I'm gonna put you on our next commercial.
My niece works at charter.
We're gonna have a follow-up
She
commercial.
talked me into getting it, and I said, I'll never learn this. Now I have 3 other people having a DVR, they're wonderful.
That's pretty funny. I just got one from my mom,
They're
so
wonderful.
she loves
I
it.
learned how to do it like in a jiffy.
It is, it's a neat thing. And they're getting cheaper too.
So for the
They're almost-
$10 extra I'm paying, that's okay, it's worth it.
And I'm sorry, I need to ask your name for the record.
I'm sorry, Annette
One second.
Castonway.
And that
Castonway.
Castonwood, thank you very much. Okay, so until we make the meeting.
Question, okay.
I'll send you out
Oh,
an email
another
tomorrow.
question.
Yes.
This meeting concerning the TV contract and so forth, is this open to the public or
Yes,
just
it
to the
is open,
board?
it's an open meeting, but it's only gonna be a one-item agenda
Correct,
meeting.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, can I ask one more question?
yes.
Am I understanding what you're saying, that there are some residents that don't pay for
No.
TV?
No, everyone did, that was my error.
Everyone has to pay for cable. You don't have to have it hooked up, your TV hooked up to it, but everybody has to pay because that's part of the lease agreement.
Okay, okay.
And that's why we get a bulk rate, because we're considered a bulk contract. So that if somebody moves out and that apartment is vacant, we still have to pay. The housing authority pays for the cable
Right,
I understand,
until I can rent it.
okay.
okay.
Anybody else?
So, to make this legal, can we have a motion to hold this off to our meeting, which we scheduled for
I'll
the
make a motion to
14th?
hold it for the special scheduled meeting.
Yes, can I have a second, please?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
get back to you guys tomorrow.
Thank
Okay,
you.
appreciate it.
Bye.
Next thing on the agenda is a public comment policy discussion and vote. Laura, did you want to talk about that? A public comment policy?
Except
Nope.
No.
No minutes.
Oh, no,
We jumped right into.
we jumped right over. Let's go back to number one, please, which is to accept the minutes of the October 1st, 2013 board meeting.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of the October 1st, 2013 meeting.
Can I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No, nobody opposed. Okay, motion carries. Okay, now, the public comment, policy discussion, and vote. Did you want to talk about that? Or did you want to talk about it?
Well, we didn't do a new policy because we wanted to have more discussion on that and kind of lay it out as to what it is we're actually looking at before we write it. So that we're doing it once, and we've already done it once, but we're gonna redo it, and that's gonna be hopefully it. So you need to decide what you want to do about public comment.
When?
I think the only thing we really need to do, in my opinion, is just add on, they can have one question during the subject of the meeting, and that's it. The rest of it's fine. Because we had a problem where, I believe, a meeting was that they didn't want to let them talk after the issue was addressed. But if we put in there that they can have one question, I think that would be good.
And when I wasn't at the last meeting, so when I reviewed the
Minutes.
minute, in order to do the minutes, I had to watch the telecast, and it's like, I just feel that before you actually vote on any policy that affects the residents, if, number one, we let them know by handing out the agendas that it's coming up at the meeting, like public comment. That's a new policy, it's coming up at the meeting, so I put it on the agenda so that everybody would know. Now, because it affects them, but also the general public, I think on any policy, they should be allowed to have discussion. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
so that you're not just voting on something that the board decided, there was actually input from whoever came to the meeting. Do you know what I mean? So
No, I know
whether it
what
be
you're saying.
one question or 5 minutes, 2 minutes,
Right.
but I think it's important that they have a say in these policies, because then it's like when you go to try to enforce it, it's like, hey, listen, it was at a meeting, you had an opportunity to speak, and you didn't come, or you did come, and whatever happened, happened, but at least they had input.
But I feel that it should be on policies, procedures, or the money, because that's the purview of the board. That's what we have to vote on. The day-to-day operations belongs with the director. And it also, it's either gonna have to be a work order or a complaint. And it needs to go to the director first according to their, even according to their, the policies of, not the policies, but the regulations of the Housing Authority and their lease. Everything's spelled out in there.
Well, I think with B's comment on the windows,
Yes, that's fine.
right, we're in the process of buying windows, additional windows. So that's something I can go back to the sales rep and ask him that question. Are we gonna have a problem installing air conditioners with these windows before we buy any more? So that was an excellent question.
Yes, it was.
Because I have to call him tomorrow to give him a dollar amount and a number of windows that I wanted. So the fact that he came and asked that, I can run that by him and see what he says. And if we're gonna have to make arrangements, I mean, I don't anticipate a problem because we're using this exact same window that we used in the back of Packagug. And we were able to install air conditioners in all those units.
Okay.
Okay, so the windows that are in the federal section of Packagug that were installed during federalization are the exact same windows that we're using for this area also. So, can I say that we had a problem with the air conditioners? We did not have a problem with the air conditioners. But am I gonna ask him that question before I purchase any more? Yes.
Yeah.
So the fact that she asked that, I think
It's
that's
good.
a perfect question.
But it's something that affects
Mhm.
all residents.
Because of different buildings
Right.
too.
Right.
Excuse me, did they have to put in brackets for those?
No, all they did was install like a regular security bracket to secure the window from releasing. You know what I mean? There's
Wow.
screws that go into each side to lock the window in place,
Okay.
so that they're not just falling out of the window. The window's down and they're screwing it in on the sides to hold it in place. And depending on the size of the air conditioner, we've had to tell some residents the air conditioner is just too big and the window isn't gonna support it. And that's it. I mean, you know, you can only have a certain size air conditioner. But before I buy any more windows, I'm gonna ask. But I'm assuming we're not gonna have a problem because I have the same ones in the back. And I wanted all of Packagug to have exactly the same window. All of Stoneville has a different window. But as we're going forward, we're gonna try to put the same window in so that when we go to order parts, you know what I mean, it's the same parts for a whole development.
Right.
So-
Excuse me, how long does your average windows last?
Long time, I mean, well,
I mean, 20 years, 15 years, 10 years?
Easily.
I would think so. I mean, the Stoneville windows have been in,
Easily, 35 years, isn't it?
They,
Last
those
time.
were
Yeah, that
those were the
All
original
did.
windows from '86, weren't they?
yeah, those were the original windows.
I
We
just
didn't
don't want to
have a
end
lot
up
of trouble.
happening what we have with the police station, where they
Oh, no.
lasted 13
12-year
years. and
window.
now we're gonna pay for all new
No,
ones.
that is not happening.
Okay.
I mean, when we went through Stoneville, that was,
So-
that was the original window, and they've been in for at least,
Since '86.
Can we just have one talking at a time, please? Okay.
so, I mean, they've been in a while too, because Paul put those windows in. So,
Okay.
we haven't had any trouble with the Stoneville windows, right?
They're perfect.
Good.
So, does that answer your question, Bea?
Yeah,
Thank you for asking the question. Really
But
good.
that, and getting back to it, it's like there's input that, I mean, they live in the apartments, they know, you know?
Yeah.
The only thing I would like to see us consider is you're talking about only allowing a question to be asked during the meeting on something of policy or finance, that sort of thing. I think if there's an item on the agenda, excuse me, I think if there's an item on the agenda, whatever it happens to be, I think that if a resident has a question on that agenda item, as we're going along for the discussion, I think that they ought to be able to ask a question relevant to that agenda item. I don't disagree that
I agree.
you don't want them to be asking a question then on something that's totally unrelated to the subject. But
Yeah.
if you've got an agenda item,
Mhm.
whatever it happens to be, and someone has a question at that time on that matter, I think that you
Right.
should take that question then. And I guess to that end, you know, as I tried to explain in the past, you know, public comment is only intended to be an agenda item. It's not a method of running the meeting. So to me, public comment policy addresses that specific agenda item, and that's what it's intended to do. It isn't intended to mean a mechanism by which you run the meeting. So to me, frankly, I don't see, I mean, I'm glad to rewrite the policy, but frankly, I don't see the need. Because public comment, citizens comment, whatever you choose to call it, it's an agenda item, it's a specific item, it's not the means for running a meeting. But if the board chooses to have the policy rewritten, you can certainly add a paragraph.
I never said that it was
To
a
that
method to
extent.
run the meeting. I just don't feel that we need to have a citizen's comment in the beginning and in the end of the meeting. I think if we're going to have comments, they need to be done with the agenda, but not twice in the meeting,
Disagree.
unless there's a question on, if something else comes up that we've already discussed that agenda. I don't think we need to discuss it again at the end.
I disagree.
Yeah.
But my only point being is that if a resident has something they want to say during public comment, it may have absolutely nothing to do with the matter that's on the agenda. It may not even be anything that the board is going to choose to address.
Right.
They have the right as a person to raise an issue, like Mrs. Barraza raised the
Yes.
issue about the windows.
Yes, and I don't have any problem with that either.
So I think I see it as two separate things. Public comment is an opportunity for someone to say ABC, the agenda items are something separate. And if they have a question on an agenda item as we go along, I think it's more efficient and more
I do
prudent
too.
to call on them for their question, causally related to the matter on the agenda.
Okay.
I
That's
think that's what everybody's saying.
The only thing is, I don't want it to turn into, like, what we can do is, if it's something that belongs as a complaint, it needs to go to Laurie, to the office. And if it's something that is a work order, we'll say, thank you for the comment, if that's a work order.
My point.
But just stick to what our purview as our job is on this board.
I
Yeah,
think we can control that.
I think we can too.
So do you want the policy, should I amend the policy with a paragraph about people still being able to ask a question on an agenda item? Is that what you want?
I think we ought to rewrite it if we
I don't
want to
think
write it.
Well, you want to do it, but I don't think you need to do it as long as the board is agrees with it.
Right. But I think,
But
we
if
have
you
a
want it
policy,
writing, put it
we
in
have to
writing.
have a policy for our policy book, so that the residents understand, new residents coming in can go to the policy book and look at it. So I think, do you agree with that, Laurie? Yeah, okay. But I mean, that's why we have the policies, is so everybody understands, all the residents understand, and everybody on the board understands what the policies are. Yes.
I think maybe I'm going to amend the title of it, and I'm going to call it Public Comment Policy / Meeting Protocol Policy or something.
I don't think that's necessary. I think it just needs to be citizens' comment.
Just add
It's
that
not
in.
the same thing, it's just, it's
I
not.
just think it needs to be citizens' comment, that's all. Because anybody, it doesn't have to be a resident, anybody can make a comment. It's an open meeting, so anybody that's in the audience can make a comment on anything in an open meeting if you were going to have citizens' comment. It's citizens' comment, it's not residents' comment.
Right,
Okay?
right.
That's all I'm saying.
And that's what I've been saying too. But, okay,
So you're looking perplexed about
guess I'm
it.
gonna do a new one.
Huh?
I don't see the point, but I guess we're gonna
I
do a
think we
new
could,
one.
And I'm not sure where she's coming from.
I don't,
I
you know,
think we could
I don't see the point, but I'm gonna do it.
perhaps each,
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Now, when you do, can I have it like,
Ahead of time, so we can send it out.
But yeah, if you
Or
just
I
send
can
it out
even
though, you
help
might
you.
want to write draft on it in case it gets changed.
Mhm,
It's only a draft.
mhm.
Yeah, until we vote on it, it's on the draft.
That's right.
I
Absolutely.
can do that.
You can do that?
She's very good at doing that.
I can type draft art.
You can do, she
I
can
can
do
do
it
that
too.
too, imagine that.
How do you like that?
Imagine that, yep.
Okay.
I just would like it when I send out the board packet, that it goes in it, so that people have a chance to look at it.
Before we vote on it.
Not to be smart, but since you're talking about the agendas, when we go from another one to another one, could you please write on the agenda what
The
place we're
location.
going, the location?
We decide that at the meeting before we.
Yeah, but-
before we
It's
vote.
on it.
I know, but when she sends, yeah, but it's not on here, and it's my own fault, I know that, but it'd make it easier if it's on the agenda saying it's gonna be here.
But she's not gonna be babysitting
Well, you-
either, Wayne.
You got it, we
This
don't.
is not assisted living, Wayne.
Oh, I know, but
And it's
geez,
not
I may be up here
babysitting.
soon.
I'll help you with that. Okay. All right, I'll work on it.
So, all right, so when I do the agenda for the meeting, I'm gonna,
Just please put it on the top saying where it's gonna be held.
Well, it is when it's posted. It's on the postings. It
Right.
says where it's gonna be.
Yeah, if you
It
go up to the
isn't
town
on the
hall,
address.
I can find
Ellen,
out, but
you're up there a lot.
if the agenda is
It's at
sent
the
to our
senior
house,
center.
it's just,
I
you know.
mean, it's over at the
You
senior
can find it
center.
on the town's
For
website.
council.
Oh,
Sure
I
you're a
gotta find
committee
it, I'll
member?
find it, all
On the
right.
meeting
Okay.
calendar.
I'm just saying, don't give her more work.
I'm just
than what
saying.
She has to do. Yes,
Special,
yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
special meeting on
Yeah,
the 14th is at Stoneville, correct?
Still,
Yes.
Okay.
What?
It's
The
just
special meeting on the 14th
It's
is Stoneville.
Stoneville.
Yes.
Yeah. And if it's, if, we've been trying to do every other meeting, so December should be at
Stoneville.
At Stoneville, absolutely. Wayne, did you hear me?
No, I didn't.
Okay, the next meeting, the December meeting is also gonna be at Stoneville, because this is
Okay.
just a one agenda item.
Okay.
For one item agenda, I said it backwards.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that we're gonna. Okay,
Just roll my face.
Just saying.
just saying.
Just saying.
Okay, the executive director's evaluation and goals, discussion and vote. Ann and Laurie and I got together yesterday for the, to compile the results of the election, of her, not election, it's like an election, her review. We came up with 25 questions with the most she could get was 5 points. So it comes to 125 points, and the final score was 109.5 for Laurie. Okay? And you're looking perplexed again, Wayne.
I'm all set.
I must.
If you actually take this and match it up with what's in
Yeah, I
the
understand.
packet, you'll understand.
I already understand. I've already looked at
Okay.
the packet. Thank you, Laurie.
You're welcome, Wayne.
And what's the highest score you could get?
The highest score you could get was a 5.
No, I mean, 25?
125.
125 is the highest.
Yeah,
Okay, that's one.
but the highest
So
on each
not
item was a
perfect
5.
choice, just so you know.
No.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Okay.
But we knew that, right?
No, we didn't.
All right, and now the
Oh,
goals.
you got one out of 50. Okay.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna say on that. And the goals, Laurie had some goals. Laurie, do you wanna read your own goals, or do you want me to read them again? The first one that she gave us was a work on the Auburn Housing Authority website, which we all,
That's a good one.
is that agreeable to the rest of the members on the board? Okay.
Now,
No.
before you go any further, on that website, what would you like to see?
Go ahead.
Here's your chance.
Go ahead, Dee.
I guess I'd like to see some history, maybe a little bit of history about how the developments came to be, and how many developments there are, and, you know, how many units there are in each location. Maybe a little bit, maybe we could provide some information, as we discussed yesterday, about the size of the units, the square footage, maybe
All right.
the layouts.
Talk slower. So we're looking at history, the size of the units.
And the number of minutes.
The number of units, the layouts.
Yeah.
A little bit about maybe what services are available, like, you know, Stoneville Heights has the advantage of having the bus service right there every day. Patchogue Village has the advantage of the senior center right next door. You know, just different things.
And the meals.
Maybe the
Yeah.
community room we have there. That's always so nice. The community room, in Stoneville.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way we're gonna take pictures, we're gonna put like a layout of the average apartment size so that people can have an idea. Then we were gonna put the board contact information,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
okay?
I think you should put maybe a link to some applications, maybe you can put the,
Mm-hmm.
I know the federal one is unique to us, so maybe you could put the federal app
Yep.
on the website, and maybe you could put a state standard app.
In the emergency.
Yep.
And then I wanted to put the waiting list.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you
And
go.
put the waiting list right on the website so that when people want to have an idea of where they are on the list, as long as they know their control number
Right.
or their
Mhm.
date of birth, they can kind of look at our list
Yeah, because we can't put the names, correct?
No,
Because
right,
that's
Put the
privacy.
control number, that's
Right,
it.
we'll put the control, it'll be identical to what we have on the wall down at the office. But this way, anybody can access, if they have access to the computer, where we are on the waiting list and just how long it actually is. Then they'll get a sense of, well, why is it taking forever for me to get housed?
And maybe you could update that every 30 or 60 days or something.
I think every 30 days is reasonable.
Yeah.
But I'd have to learn how to put it on, but I can do
Well, it's
that.
gonna take time.
I
You're
think
not gonna
every
do it
30
overnight.
days is a bit much.
But we do it anyway, Alice,
You-
for the
it has to
wall.
be.
We're trying to do the
It has
wall
to be,
every
yeah.
since Debbie, did you meet Debbie?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
This is Debbie Hanks. She actually is the housing specialist in the office. So we've got it so that we're updating the waiting list every 30 days, and we're reposting it on the wall so it doesn't look like, oh geez, this was 6 months ago. Where are we? Well, I think 30 days is reasonable. So if we put the waiting list on the website and the income limits, like questions that they frequently ask us.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
Like-
you could make a FAQ if we really ask questions.
I could try.
What was that one again? I didn't hear.
A frequently asked questions page?
Yes.
They want to know, like, how much they can have to live in housing, what's the approximate rent
Right,
going to be,
yeah.
what's the maximum income allowed, and explain that the state has preferences. We have veterans, we have
exactly.
local residents, like, just basically, all the questions that they call and ask us, or ask us when they come in, I'd like to put the answers on the website. And that should eliminate some of the questions, because then we can just, refer them to the website. And the other thing that I wanted to do along with this is, I think we need an applicant handbook. And this is one of my other goals. So that when they come in, they're looking for a handout, like that explains what we have for housing, where the housing is, basically this,
In paper.
but in paper. We're not going to be sending it out to all the applicants, because we're assuming that if they're applying, they have an idea, unless they ask for it. But we have people that come in the office that have no clue.
Right.
They were just directed to the office, and it's like, well,
No.
right, so if we have something that actually explains the programs and answers a lot of questions in the book, then I think that'd help. But that was I didn't throw that in, but that was another goal.
Okay, I just put it on YouTube. So.
And if we're gonna have pictures taken and draw out things, we might as well make use of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we need model apartments.
Oh, go with me.
Here you go.
Wow.
My bedroom's a storage room.
So
They picking on you.
I guess it won't be you, because the bedroom would not look very big.
I don't mind, as long as we know ahead of time.
But a lot of times they'll ask, do you have a model apartment? And of course we don't, because our goal is to be fully rented. So if we actually can set up a few apartments to, like, people that look halfway decent, and I know who, then, if we call and ask, if you would mind,
I don't mind, as long as we know a day ahead or something, so we can
and you'll bake.
pick up a few little.
Yeah.
Chocolate cake, peanut butter frosting.
And just put in a request.
Chocolate cake, peanut butter frosting.
So that was another thing, as far as to help the process
That's good.
along.
Suggestion might be for you, if you can do this legally. You're talking about a control number, I think you said?
Right.
If there's a link when it comes to checking on the waiting list of, I forgot my control number, because, or if there's any way to do that.
I won't do that. If they don't have their control number, they're gonna really need to call the office.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people will call and you don't know who, like a family member will call to check on the mother's application. We won't even speak to the family member unless we have a release from the
Understood,
applicant.
but usually those types of links are have multiple levels that you have to get through. I mean, you can do it for your password on any website you access. And there's confidential questions or something that somebody has filled out. I'm just guessing that some people are going to lose that number.
Could I, before, I don't need to interrupt here, please, and ask you for your name?
Sure, my name is John Anderson.
John Anderson, thank you.
I can try to,
I'm just, if you're comfortable with it, I'm fine.
I would,
She wants to see you. Don't ask me.
no, actually,
Just a second. I think we have to be very careful too, because of privacy, to protect the residents' privacy. So we have to really be careful with any numbers or anything that are published, so that people can't link it up with who it is. And
No, I was just gonna make the point that the Housing Authority utilizes another company's network to maintain the data on the applications, the residents, everything.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be able to interact with another company's
Right.
data.
Right.
But surely, I mean, there is a mechanism to search by the name that the Housing Authority staff can do on that
Yeah,
network.
yes, right.
They can search, if someone calls the office, I
Right.
forgot my control number, can you give it to me? My name is Sally Doe. They can put my name in and they can find my control number.
Except-
And then Sally Doe can keep, hopefully she'll keep track of that number. And then the next time she wants to know where she is on the list, she'll have the number.
except I would be very careful with that too, because
Yeah.
anyone can call in and say they're Sally Dog.
Right.
yeah, but we have more information on them that we can always
Right.
verify
Right,
who they
Exactly.
are.
But what I'm saying
Date of
is,
birth,
for the
social
public,
security.
I want them to realize that we're very, very careful about giving out information.
I think some of our policies should be on there too, like the no smoking policy. Maybe the reason, not only health-wise, but usually the no smoking.
Well, actually, that would be a good idea, Alice, because that way anybody that doesn't know, when we send out the applications, the smoke-free policy goes with it so that they know to the applicant, oh, by the way, we're smoke-free.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if they decide that they can't quit smoking, then they aren't gonna wanna come here.
How about some of those small pets?
Yeah, remember the pet policy.
One small pet,
Well, that dog,
You know,
under 25 pounds.
Okay, so we'll put the pet policy on. Any others that you think of? The public comment policy.
That's what every policy we have.
No, we're not.
No.
doing
Yeah,
that.
I think that's a good idea.
We cannot afford that.
Why are we having special policies and non-special policies?
That's what we do. No,
Oh, no.
this, we need to,
State policies.
this is for people who are interested. in
they're gonna
care.
charge us like for all these pages. So we're gonna, but you know what, when I get closer to the, figuring this whole thing out, like I have a year now, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
I have a year to come up with a website. It shouldn't take me that long, but I have a year before my next evaluation
To get this
Oh,
stuff
boy.
to
done.
get this
Wait.
done.
Right.
And that's on TV.
And it's
Can't
measurable.
wait.
And it definitely is measurable too, so it's good.
So any other ideas?
Is there a way of knowing when the meetings are going to be televised? They're not on at a regular time.
It's up to Chris. He edits the tapes and he decides when they're going to be put on. I can't tell
The
you.
only way I've happened to come across the meeting is I was surfing and I thought,
Look.
It is on the calendar.
They have it on the
Yes,
schedule.
Yes, it is on the
for me,
schedule.
I don't know about anybody else, that calendar is not,
I have trouble reading it too.
thank you.
Not only have the trouble reading it, but it takes a long time to get there.
Right, but
Yeah,
I have
seen-
because they're
trouble
running so
reading
many
it because of
different
the colors.
Yeah, but they have programs on
Yeah.
channel 11 and 12, and even like the bulletin board, it's like you gotta catch it at the right time to see it. And then they got 15 shows before you see it again.
So we're gonna make,
You can comment,
It's on the computer, you can pull it up on the
Yeah.
computer.
yes, if you have a computer. you
Yeah,
can
if you have
pull it
a
up.
computer. Smile.
Not everybody has one. Yes, Ann.
Mrs. Brummels, do you know whether Mr. Hugo will allow a call to his office to ask what the schedule is?
Yes, I'm sure he'll take the call.
Okay.
Yep.
So the residents could always call the cable TV office. I don't know the number off the top of my head. Do you, Mrs. Brummels?
508-832-5323.
That's it.
5320.
Are you serious?
Repeat that, Wayne.
Serious.
508-832-5323.
You want any other numbers?
Is this so you can keep track of every time you're on TV?
No.
Yeah.
I don't even look at myself on TV, to be honest with you.
5232.
I want to see you at the meetings.
You're flipping through all the channels and there you are. It's like, what is this?
Especially Christmas time.
And at least he's changing his clothes up a little. Can you imagine?
Now, don't talk about Christmas.
Christmas is on every
Keep
day.
it up, Lori. Keep it up.
832 what?
You're gonna have to get a tune-up.
5323.
And that's Chris Hugo's
Thank you,
number?
Mrs. Brummels.
Yes.
Yes. And you can leave a voicemail for something.
Chatter TV.
I'm not going to TV. I won't know his phone number. No. All right, so then we need to do a newsletter to the residents.
Yes,
That's another goal.
that's a real good one,
It is a bit.
And you need to give me an idea of what you would like to see in this newsletter. Like Chris Hugo's phone number.
too. If we have complaints about cable. Just
We're
saying.
supposed to be working on our community relations. We
saying.
don't need to be stirring it up.
Just saying.
But
No, you can.
what do you want to see in the newsletter? I think
Like any upcoming events or anything like that, do we have any?
yeah, but that's the senior center stuff.
No, I'm talking about the housing stuff, not the senior stuff. That's a whole different atmosphere.
Well, how about some of the
Do you
relationships?
have any programs or anything?
have was a Thursday afternoon coffee. All hour
Well, maybe
long.
we should look into it.
Chocolate cake, peanut butter frosting.
How about some of
Yeah.
the relationships we have with Auburn Youth and Family Services and with the schools? You know, you've been doing things with the children at the schools.
Those relationships should be got because they do with the kids last
Are
year.
you still doing that, through that?
We haven't gone this year, but we actually did send the kids in the Galaxy programs. Welcome back to school candy packs. They were thrilled.
And the points you can get at different stores that they will credit the schools. Like where I purchase my food, I've given Julie Bancroft as a name, and for the amount of money you spend, they get so many credits that they send to the school for it.
She's absolutely right.
Well, you're going to help me with this. You
We can
said,
think about
so
it.
you start. I mean, I'm looking at a newsletter like, okay, we're going to be installing the generators. The generators actually got new.
That's right.
Yeah,
Tanks.
news. This happened this
Today.
month, this happened next month.
Today.
this-
Right.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, I know, oh, I understand it got done today, but I mean,
So if you were writing a December newsletter, you
newsletter.
say the tanks are
Right.
done on November
If-
5th.
Do you know we actually had a resident come in and ask us if we were burying
A buy.
the residents in the hole? Seriously?
Oh my God.
Well, it was kind of rectangular. You know what I mean? If you look at the tank and how that's set up, I'm like, I'm listening to it from the other room and I'm saying,
Starting your own cemetery.
yep. Those that can't afford to go elsewhere are gonna be very right here. And then we're gonna have a section for pets.
All right.
That's
No.
Madam Chairman, we digress.
Yes.
All right, so the newsletter,
Can we think about it?
you can think of, yes.
Yeah,
You can
because
think
we
about the
can-
newsletter, but I have a year to do this.
Yes.
And
We
this-
want news. It obviously going to have news. Upcoming events.
And you're gonna write articles for our newsletter
Maybe
the
we
way I
have to
do
wait
it
a
in
year for you to
the
do something?
Final
What?
design.
We have to wait a year for you to do something?
I'm gonna give you an update.
Well, actually, that'd
Well,
be an
even that we
advantage to the
can't because
computer.
of privacy, I mean, it
Well,
goes
that's what I was
to
wondering, yeah.
newspapers. But I would say we shouldn't do that.
Well,
Okay.
But anyway, I don't know. I don't think we should. I don't know what for this way. I don't know.
did you say obituaries?
She did, yes, and I said, I don't think we can do that, I don't think.
It's
No,
not.
no.
No?
My nun back there is saying, no.
No,
Yeah, I don't agree on that, but.
No.
And not, how about birthdays? Should we put birthdays?
Well, no, because it's privacy issues
But if you
again.
just list the month and the day, it's not like you're saying the year. It's not like you're saying you're,
January birthdays.
January birthdays.
Her
Or,
birthdays.
you're not saying January 10th, 19.
I think we need
So,
to work on
just
this.
It's easy to
See,
figure out.
see where you're coming up with like
Right. different
ideas,
stuff,
but
yeah.
they're not necessarily what people want to see.
Or what we
I
can
think
do.
if, when we go to put the ice melt in the hallways, people need to know that, oh, by the way, the ice melt is in the hallway.
It's a bucket of ice
Good
melt.
idea.
You know what I
Or
mean?
you're gonna be working in a section of.
Or maintenance is gonna be installing windows, you know, you may be called to have your, you know, windows put in, so, oh, by the way, you're gonna need to take your curtains down. You know, I mean, like information, that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
Right,
Not like
that's good.
what's going on and, I mean, because how am I not, I don't pay that much, I never read the paper, I don't pay that much attention.
So how
Well,
about
you
when
should start,
Your things, your ideas are much better.
Just saying.
than for
Yes,
others.
I'm sure you can do a very good job at
The
that.
other-
How big of a newsletter are
Stuff
you
to
talking
think
about?
about.
One page.
One page? One side, two sides?
Yeah, because we're not gonna have that printed. We're gonna be printing this in the
Right.
office.
No, I know.
I'm gonna make it as good as I can, but the clip
Yeah,
art
right.
can only go so far.
So it'd be like a double-sided page?
On one
To
side,
start,
one
I mean, I
page
think,
even.
you know, start slow and work your way up. If it works out,
depends.
then boom.
how much I have to say. There could be like a lot going
Oh,
on.
yeah, right.
That wouldn't be hard.
Okay, let's move on
But,
to.
so that's another goal.
Okay.
All
Did you
right.
write these down?
Yeah, I did.
All right, what else do we have?
I had, let's see, I got some looking. Newsletter for residents monthly, you said. Originally.
Monthly or bi-monthly?
Monthly is about, if she can do monthly, I think that's.
Try to
doing a lot.
implement every couple months,
She got a year.
quarterly newsletter. But then by then.
But then by then
information
it's old
swings.
news.
Then it's old news.
Yeah.
So if we keep it small and to the point and go with like a one pager, both sides, and then I can put like whatever maintenance projects are going on, you know, if you want your apartment painted, if you need a rug, you know what I mean, a rug or, you know, anything that's not, I'm looking at you and I'm like, if you need a rug, I can wait a long time. I know.
tell me about that.
Okay, you ready?
But I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at. I mean, I don't want to get into the obituaries.
Holy kidding. People are buried in the backyard, you said.
We had another resident pass away this weekend, so it's like, it's just not,
No, I know.
One of the other things that you had, Laurie, was update the resident handbook by adding the new policies, not changing them, just updating them and bringing them up to date. Is completed, they'll be given to the board because of the goals. So we have to make sure that the goals.
all right, so the resident handbook is halfway, it's actually more than halfway complete. So that's actually a goal that's going to be finished early. So when I finish it, then we're going to bring it before the board, and then the residents are all going to get it, and then they're going to sign for it.
Right.
And that goal will be done.
And
For a
then,
year, right?
Yeah, I got a year.
and then the next one was update the preventive maintenance manual.
That, yeah.
Can you, what exactly is that going to do? Preventive maintenance movement?
Well, the board addresses the budget, the policies, and the finance, so the day-to-day operation comes under her.
You're just gonna see, I'm gonna
You're just gonna
redo it.
see it.
I'm gonna redo it. It's
But what does it?
what maintenance is supposed to do on
Coming
regular,
up or-
on a regular basis. Their routine stuff.
Like inspecting the hot water tanks to make sure they're not.
All kinds of, anything actually that they do to update it so that.
I mean, it's not anything you
Right.
need to vote on, because that's day-to-day operations, but I would like, I'm gonna put a lot of effort into it, so I would like you to at least see it and know that I did it,
Right,
okay? And the same thing with the emergency management
yes,
plan.
that was not on here, but I think that's good, we need to update that.
And I'm gonna ask you to let me be on that committee.
That's good. I don't see any limit.
That's good.
We wrote on
I'm
better
also on that
communication
committee.
with town officials.
Well, I didn't know if you were taking additional comments, question, or additional votes here.
And we're not, we're just doing hers right now? I mean, the
Right.
what she had.
Yeah.
And if we agree on these goals, then you can, when we finish with that, then we take any of the other goals from the board members. Okay?
I think that's great. I think that could go a long way. I think it will help the residents and help the housing. I'd like to see that as an actual goal.
I think she's already doing that, personally.
But I understand what she's talking about.
I just think that,
Communication.
there could be good opportunities for the town and the housing authority to be working partners. And I'd like us to take advantage of that opportunity if we could.
So, will you please send me a notice as to when the next council on aging meeting
Sure.
is?
You want any other meetings in town?
Next
Phone numbers of the directors?
It's always the second Tuesday of the year.
Next Tuesday is
Auburn
COA.
Housing.
Next Tuesday?
10:15.
No, I'm not saying I'm gonna go to all these, but I mean, to show up once in a while isn't the worst thing.
No.
And it doesn't mean you're gonna be able to go to every meeting.
No, and
Well, I'm not gonna, I mean, I
I'm not
can't.
saying you should go to every meeting, I'm just saying that,
They should know who I am.
Yes,
that's,
yes,
Oh,
and the town hall as well.
right.
The town
Yeah.
manager, as you say.
Nobody expects you to go to every meeting, but it's
Well,
like,
you do, that covers it, you know.
Well,
well,
I don't, I'm just asking you, I just like to see you work on a relationship with the town government in general.
What do you mean by a relationship?
A rapport, a working rapport, so you can pick up the phone and call the town manager and talk about an issue. The wind turbine thing we were talking about yesterday. The town is going to be erecting a wind turbine on top of Prospect Hill. We've done studies and we've determined that there's sufficient wind there, and they can run all of the town buildings. And there's enough power left over that they're going to be able to send some back to National Grid. So I thought, maybe there's an opportunity, and maybe there isn't, for the director to work with the town manager to see if there's an opportunity for the housing authority to maybe buy that additional power, maybe at a better rate than you could buy it from National Grid. Developing those kind of partnerships.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna give you like status updates as we're going along. So as these get completed, we'll take them off, and if there's time, then we throw new ones on.
Good.
Do you know what I mean? Once
No,
we
that's
determine that the goal is, like this stuff, once I finish it, we can pick new ones.
no.
If I'm having trouble with this, I'm gonna let you know, or if it's not what you're looking for, then we're gonna make the adjustment as we go along.
You can only accomplish what you can accomplish. Some things you can, some things you can't.
And that's
But I
also
think-
good because we can then have measurable goals for her. So that when these
Reasonable.
things are completed, when we go to do her review, it's gonna make her review a lot easier to do. Yes.
And that was really going to be my point. I mean, I think if we set these 5 or 6 things as her goals for this upcoming year,
And that's plenty.
and if you could just give us a progress report periodically, maybe quarterly, and tell us how you're doing with those goals, then we'll know. And then I don't personally think you need to add, like if you take one off, I don't think you need to add one right now. I think maybe come November of 2014, when we're looking at this again, we set new goals.
But like, say going green, I'm gonna use that as an example. I'm gonna take a class on what that actually means to go green.
Right.
And what it would mean for the housing authority, and what kind of dollars are out there for
Grant.
funding for going green, or if
Right.
it's even gonna be worth our while. So as things come up, I'm gonna be looking for going to the training to find out what's involved in it, so the goals could actually even change. Do you know what I mean? If we find that there's grant money out there for going green, and I figure I can pull it off, then that becomes a priority. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's gonna have
Sounds
to be
good.
like a work in progress to adjust to whatever's going on.
we really don't want to load her up too much because we have to remember, we have 5 facilities that she takes care
Right,
of.
that's why I said, I think we've got 5 things.
No, I think it's good. The way you got it right now is good for a start.
Good for a year,
Real good.
it's a year, and work on them, and see how it goes.
And if I can't do it, I'm just gonna tell you, I can't do it.
But, you know-
I still have to run the housing authority.
Right, so I think if you give us periodic updates, and then we'll know, and if you're having difficulty, you know, if going green turns out to be more of a monumental task than you had anticipated, then maybe we need to look at doing that over 15 months or 18 months or something like
But
that.
that's not one of her goals right
No,
now.
no, no, that's just something she was talking
I just wanted to
about.
make that clear. It's not part of her
No,
goals
no,
now.
no,
She's
she
gonna
brought
look
it up,
into
I
it.
just, you know, or any of these things, if it
Yeah,
becomes
I
an
mean,
issue, then, you know, we can talk about it. We're not gonna wait until 12 months from
No.
now to find out that I couldn't do this because,
Right.
you know.
You're gonna know.
We need to know, and she needs the backing of the board so that if she needs to adjust something, it can be adjusted.
And if there's a meeting going on in town that you think I should go to, then it would be, it would be helpful if you called me and said, you know, you might want to go to this one.
That doesn't mean you have to go. It's-
No, but I mean, it would be helpful. He goes, he knows. You can pick up the phone. Do you know the housing authority number?
I've called you more than once, haven't I? So there.
This is just a
Shut her up.
continuation of what you've been doing all along.
No,
right?
but we'll
it's
have it
in writing.
documented in writing. I'll write it all up on the sheet,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay?
That's good.
So that we have this,
yes,
okay?
that's good. Which one have you got there? Yes, good.
And then we'll go from there.
That's all you can do.
Just documenting what you've been doing all along.
Right. Very good.
So do you
Okay.
agree on that? You're gonna vote?
Does everybody agree?
Yes.
All right, can we have a motion, please, to accept all the 5 things?
But it has to do it wrong.
I would make that motion.
Okay. Can we have a second? All in favor, or do you have more discussion first? Anybody in the audience have any input? Now's your time. Okay, then, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Okay, very good. And the executive director's report is the next thing on the agenda.
But can I bring something up that was never discussed as I was sitting here getting
You
I
need
was
it
at
again, please, for the
Wegmans
record?
today. No, it doesn't have to be on the record.
Yes, it does have to be on the
Okay.
record. If you're speaking in a meeting, it needs to be on the record.
At Wegmans Market, they have a big sign outside the parking lot, emergency gathering point. It like astounded me, and I'm sitting in this room, and I think it should be in our lease or our handbook. In an emergency, this should be a gathering point. I mean, we're in a whole new age of horror things happening, and this should be a gathering point. We have restrooms, we have bathrooms. I don't know, I'm just sitting here and this went through my mind.
It's a very good suggestion.
That had been.
What do you think, Laurie? Is this the best place?
Oh, it is the place.
Yeah.
Now, is it my report?
Yes.
Well, the generators at Stoneville have been, we actually have the tanks in place, they're in the ground, and they were inspected today, we're good to go. So now we just need the electrician to come back and hook us up, and then we need fuel. So in the event that we should have any kind of power outage, like a significant power outage, we are going to have the capacity with the generators to operate the office, operate the community room, and that means the stove, the refrigerator, the microwave, and the same for up here. So this building and the office community room at Stoneville are the 2 locations for the residents that you're going to have heat, you're going to have lights, and you're going to have access to the kitchen. The package, the one in the back, no, it's up here. Everybody has a key to this building, so everybody can let themselves in.
And it will have heat.
That's great.
Once you get all that done, you're gonna send notices out to the, okay. And another question, I know you were working on this anyway, but all the emergency lights in the hallways, are they all fixed now?
Building one is started. They're still
Start.
working on it. Yeah.
Okay, they're still working on it? Good,
Can we please have a
good,
call?
thank you.
Thank you.
What's that? Yeah.
So another thing that we're gonna need to look at is we're gonna be installing intercom systems at Packagug and Stoneville and automatic door closures on the main door that goes into the building. Okay? So the doors are gonna actually have to be locked. Have to be locked, automatic door closures, and you're gonna have an intercom system where you're gonna have to buzz whoever, because the hallway's gonna be locked.
So they'll be able to press a button and unlock the door,
The residents will have to unlock the door.
but they can do it from their apartment.
They can do it from their apartment. The intercom systems are gonna be in their apartments.
And that was because of state regulation or something you said?
Where are we taking the money from?
I don't know yet.
Do you have any idea what it's gonna cost?
No.
We'll have the names of, floors, Rich, and, one above upstairs and one downstairs. You know what I'm saying?
You're just gonna be buzzing the door,
This is the main door to get in and out.
just the main door. The back doors are gonna have to be locked.
That's the fire door.
You can still get out
Oh,
in the event of a fire. And the fire department has keys to get in. But there will be an automatic door closure installed on all those front doors, where the mailboxes are, at Stoneville and at Packagug. I'm not sure how much it's gonna cost. We're gonna have to change our capital plans, because that's another thing. I'd have to redo all our capital funding. So I'll be having meetings with the residents to discuss the intercom and the door closures once I have an idea of how much it's gonna cost. You know?
At the meeting, financial meeting we had, the federal funds are going to be cut about 18% this year, we were told.
But that's the beauty of having reserves.
Yes.
We actually have been able to save some money on the federal side, and since the majority of our apartments are federal, if we need to use that money, then that's what we're gonna use. That's what we saved it for.
Yeah.
So the policy on the doors is, we're gonna actually have a policy, and it's gonna be that the doors are gonna have to be locked. But the resident will be able to buzz people in once the intercom system is in place.
We've been very
What about-
careful with our reserve fund so that we have it. Because if we weren't, it would be gone by now.
Yeah.
What about the mail? Are the mailmen going to be able to get in? Mail delivery?
Yes.
UPS, no. FedEx, no.
Well, they
The-
would have to buzz you.
They can,
That buzzes.
they're gonna buzz them in.
Yeah.
But what about
The regular,
daily delivery?
our daily deliveries,
Because at the
we
federal.
could have them sign for, we generally have the same mail people,
Yeah.
so we could have them sign for a key to that development
Yeah.
that they work at. We don't have any trouble with our mail carriers
Same person?
for years. So, I think the mail, if we give them a key to the door, then they can access because I know our mail carrier down at Stoneville actually has a key to our community room, because if she needs to get into the bathroom, she needs to use the bathroom, she has a key. So we've never had any trouble with the mail carriers at all. So, and then it'd just be to access the building, not anybody's apartment.
Okay. Anything else? Are the units all full?
You got a comment on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody's asking us, and my name is Betty Gill. And they're worried of what they would do if there's a tornado. That's their big worry, where they should go, where. We've come to the conclusion, Marie and I were talking about it, in the rubbish room, that's the trash room. That's, no windows, nothing in there, and they say that would be a good spot.
You know where, for Stoneville, I would have to say the basement at St. Joe's, or the basement at Bethel, you know what I mean, Bethel Lutheran, something,
Leave it and go over there.
one of the
They have a
churches.
basement,
I mean, we don't have any basements.
I know, that's what they're worried about.
At
The laundry room has no windows. It's all lined with piping.
There's two more items, and so I can't say if that's what she's.
Well, that's not the point.
I don't know.
Whether it smells or not, it would be a safe room.
I'm sorry, she didn't quite finish her.
Oh, excuse me.
No, that's okay.
Oh, okay.
See, this is gonna be part of the emergency management plan.
Okay, that's right.
What to do in the event of a tornado, and it'll be in the newsletter,
Yeah,
once I
okay.
figure it out.
That's good, because we wanted
And
to
it's-
ask them.
All right.
But I mean, I
Didn't
need
pack
to
it out, yeah.
actually ask somebody
You'll
that,
see my car.
you know,
My car's right
what
in
would the
front.
town, I need to ask them, what would they recommend? Where do they want our residents to go?
I think it was a good thing saying the churches, because I think they always do open it up.
And they have a
In emergency
basement.
condition, yeah.
I know Bethel Lutheran does. St. Joe's does. I mean, and they're close to Stoneville. I mean, up here, North American Martis, they have a basement.
Do they have a basement?
No basement?
I don't know.
North American Miles has a big room downstairs.
They got food pantry on the bottom floor.
In the basement, they have a
So
basement.
they do have,
Yes.
so put you down with the food. So that's part of the emergency management plan. What to do in the event of
Tornado, hurricane, or...
natural disaster.
Any natural disaster.
I mean, I have a basement.
I do too. I have been out there a few times. The last year tornado one.
You could do
Are
the
you
laundry.
operating-
And I have a generator.
Are you operating your house?
Well, if that's the case, I mean, I have a basement, everybody knows where I live, and if you don't, then you should. But I mean, I have a basement, we always have food. You know, I have a generator,
It's a public invitation. I think.
well, it is what it is,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
I'm not saying it's gonna be the best food, but we have food. So that'll tie in with, but that was a good question.
Yes.
So as far as my report goes, we had 2 residents pass away, and we're waiting for the families to remove their belongings, and when they do, we will be housing. So do we have a vacancy? As of right now, the rent's paid for the month, and starting December 1st, there'll be somebody in those units. So, as of right now, we don't have any vacancies. They're working on, maintenance is working on windows. They're tied up now because they're trying to pick up leaves, you know, to get the leaves up. All the gutters are gonna need to be cleaned. You know, so they have a lot of things going on, but they've been going at it, you know?
You do a very good job, man. Our maintenance crew has really been good.
And we have actually received thank yous for our maintenance staff, which is very much appreciated.
Good.
Yeah.
You know, they appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So, as far as that goes, I think,
Do you have anything else, Larry?
do you think of anything else? I don't think of anything else.
Joyce?
We have a visitor party. I know the maintenance crew has to be there. My daughter came over the other day and the only space that was open was the handicap. And of course she couldn't park there. So she went a little further into the circle. And there's only about 4 spaces, something like that. Available in that visitor parking.
That's something I have to really look at those spaces.
Yeah.
I'll take another look again at the motor vehicle registrations to see who still has cars, and go from there, because I know maintenance actually takes up a lot of those spaces, because we don't
Yes.
really have, I mean, we have a dumpster that takes up a space, But we need that because of the windows,
They have to
the
have
trailer,
that.
the sander. Well, the sander's on the truck, so that freed up that space, but the gizmo that they put the sander on is still taking up a
Yeah.
space. But we really don't have a place to put it
I know.
other than that.
I know there's two before the dumpster, and then there's one or two further down.
And I kind of want to keep,
Yeah.
we have cameras on that area, so I kind of want to keep the maintenance equipment there,
Oh,
because
yeah,
we do
right,
have
right,
cameras
yeah.
on that garage.
Through the chair, you have an old truck over there that's not, what is with that one?
It's on the road.
It's on the road now?
Those are my wheels.
Oh, is it your wheels? No, as long as it's on
Well,
the
it
road.
got
and not
rejected,
sitting
just
there.
saying, it's got a rejection sticker on it right now. So, we've been driving it because they felt that because it had been sitting so long, that's why
Yeah.
it didn't, it was emissions that didn't
Combustion.
pass.
Yeah.
So I need to take it for a flip, and then I need to take it back and get it re-inspected, but it's been it's repaired.
So it's all set and it's on the road now?
It's good to go,
Good.
other than the rejection sticker. But I'm gonna clean that up. Just so you know.
Okay.
While we're talking about vehicles, I've been meaning to bring this up for a while, but I think at some point we need to look at putting some kind of housing authority identification on the vehicles, so everybody knows that they're housing authority vehicles. You have blue plates, don't you, the state plates? Yeah. But like most public vehicles, they're marked, unless it's like an unmarked cruiser or something like that, but I really think that they should have some sort of a marking on the doors of the vehicles so that, the vehicles have, like, you had two blue trucks, they said Auburn Housing Authority on the doors, everybody knew it was a Housing Authority truck. Now you've got a yellow truck and a white van, and I don't even know what else you've got.
Dump truck
The
White
dump truck, that's right.
and a blue truck.
In a blue truck.
Right, so, it's not even like you can look the yellow vehicles, the yellow vehicles also could be
Water
water
department,
district,
that's why
sewer
we did it.
department. You wanna look like the water department?
So you're trying to hide?
Trying to hide. No, I really feel that, they're public vehicles, and I really think that they should be marked down with.
Okay.
Yeah, why
I know
not?
we can't vote on that because it's not on the agenda, but
That's really not a vote.
No,
That's
something that she can
an
take care of.
operational thing. I mean, I can just put something on and figure out, but we can't do that stick-on thing, because remember that blue truck, how the letters started falling off? And then it had the little houses on it, and the houses were falling off? That did not present a good image.
only because it was quite,
What if you just put something like housing authority property, period?
well, what, the town vehicles have that town insignia on them. I don't know how it's applied. I don't know if it's, I don't know if
We
it's
can
paint or
ask.
if it's
How did they
plastic
put
or,
how
They
did
do
they put?
have them, the guy comes and puts them on.
is it painted?
No, it's a sticker,
Like a decal or something?
yes.
Thank you.
They also have magnetic
Detail.
ones you can use
Same
too.
thing. What's that?
They also have magnetic,
Yes, they do.
Yeah, but the thing with magnetic ones, sometimes people take them off. too.
yeah, that's true.
You know, you're better off having it stuck right on you.
Yeah.
We'll put a magnet on the blue truck.
No. It's not gonna say Uxbridge on it either. Just saying.
Just saying.
But
Okay, so the vehicles need to be marked. You had brought that up before.
Long time ago.
And then it was gonna have the yellow
Yeah, I
truck
remember.
painted white, so that at least it would look like
Okay.
the rest of them. So I'm still gonna do that.
That's quite an expensive.
yeah, but you think it's worth the money to, I mean,
And I kinda like the yellow because it sticks out like a sore thumb in a snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yeah,
why,
that's
if the
true.
truck's in good shape and it's painted good, why
So then just
short of
leave
money
it.
just to
Yeah,
paint it?
I
Yeah,
guess,
just
yeah.
leave it.
Yeah.
So we'll leave the yellow truck yellow, we'll keep the other trucks
Yeah,
white.
that's an awful lot of money to spend painting it.
And I'm putting
I
a
was just
plow
gonna
back
ask where the
on the
money
blue
was gonna come
truck.
from.
I'm gonna learn how to plow.
Let
That's a
us know
goal.
when that's, can you let us know when that's gonna happen?
That's a goal. I'm gonna learn how to plow.
That's gonna be our goal, to stay out of the way.
There you go.
Does anyone else on the board have any other item that they want to bring up at this time? Okay. Does anybody in the audience have any other comments they want to make? Any questions you want to make? Okay, then I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Before we do that, we need to set the meeting,
Yeah.
which is the first, should be the first Monday in December.
All right.
I mean, the first, yeah,
Tuesday.
first
First
Tuesday in
Tuesday.
December.
That's the third.
Is that the
Third?
third?
Yeah.
At 3:30, and that will be at,
Stoneville.
Stoneville Heights.
Where?
Stoneville Heights. You got it, Wayne?
I got it.
Okay, there you go.